First and foremost, let's give God all the praise, that we even had the open mindset to look at something like this. And I will tell you a little bit about myself. So, my name is Dr. Kareem Griffith. I have a master's in microbiology, I have a doctorate in pharmacy, and I have over 22 years of experience in the industry. And what happened for me is that a dear friend of mine, Haley Keating, she reached out to me because she knew that I had a medical condition of congestive heart failure that I was diagnosed with 6 years ago. And I was 43 at that point. And what happened is that it was actually more severe than I realized. It was end stage congestive heart failure. And what that means is that I had an ejection fraction of less than 10%. It was actually at 8%. And people don't generally recover from that. They told me, I went into the doctor and said, I think I might have pneumonia or something. I bent over to tie my shoes and when I couldn't breathe, I was having difficulty. They said, we need to rush you to the emergency room right now and speak to our cardiologist. I said, what is going on, you guys? And I get there and I'm in denial. I'm like, what's happening? And they say, you um, have congestive heart failure. And I never have heard about this. My father is a medical doctor. He's an emergency room doctor. My internal medicine doctor. My brother's an emergency room doctor. And so we grew up in a house with doctors. And um, I guess my symptoms were masked because I was in such good shape for most of my life. And at this point, I was in a low, I wasn't working out very much, and my body finally caught up with me. And so, long story short, is that if we fast forward 6 years, I'm talking to Haley about the situation. She's like, wow, I'm taking this all natural product and I wonder if it could be helpful for you because I know that does heart failure have to do with inflammation? I said, yeah, that's one of the number one things going on with it. And she says, okay, yeah, take a look at this. And I said, Haley, this is not for me. Like I'm a pharmacist. Like I deal in medicine. I don't deal in supplements or extracts or whatever you're trying to share with me. And basically, she says, no. I want you to tell me if I'm sharing something that's not working. If I'm doing something wrong, I need to know. So I challenge you to go out and do the research, do your due diligence, and come back to me and let me know if it doesn't work. I said, okay, all right. You're not going to be happy when I come back because I'm going to tell you this is wrong. It has this interaction, all these things. And don't you know, I take it to my dad and say, hey, we need to really, dig through the research. It's over 70 years. I need some help. And he's like, okay, let's look at it. And I take it to my brother and, so we get all the doctors together and we say, what do we have here? First thing we see, one of the extracts looks like it has a mechanism of action to reduce inflammation. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, I wonder how it does that. So we're looking at it, we're checking it out, we're going through the literature. And then another one of the extracts, there's an alpha, a beta, and a gamma. I have something to do with insulin sensitivity. I'm like, oh wow, that could help a lot of different disease states if you can control your cravings and your insulin. That's amazing. And then the third thing we saw was that one of the extracts that they're able to pull out of the hops flower has to do with thermogenesis. And we're like, what is going on here? It can take your fat stores and turn it into energy through the process of heat. Okay, so that's going to work on the visceral fat. This is pretty impressive. But still, honestly, even though we did all that research, we were like, it's probably not going to work. It's honestly probably still not going to work. I mean, everyone is different. Just because it works for those people on the Facebook group doesn't mean it's going to work for me. So I went ahead and I said, okay, you know what? We looked at it and we were able to see that overall, it seems to be a safe product. And that just simply means that, oh, and before I go any further, guys, we do have to read this disclaimer. Let me read this disclaimer because as a healthcare provider, as this circulates, this is really important. And anyone that shares this, listen, these third-party references are provided for educational and informational purposes only and are not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always, always, always seek out the advice of your physician or other qualified health providers with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you learned with this presentation. I do not want anyone to take anything I say as medical advice. We don't do that here, okay? But what I did want to say was I looked at it a little bit closer, and what I discovered was that matured hop extract is special because it comes from the hops plant. And the reason they say it's matured is because they age it to full maturity. The longer it ages, the higher the concentration. That's positive for us because now you could lose a lower dose to give a more potent and more bioavailable extract, right? And so as you do that, you're going to have this patent pending process, right? And this patent pending process means nobody else has it in the world. Only we have it at MPG. That's really important to know. So if you look it up on Amazon or eBay or whatever, you might see it there, but that's not what we have. Okay, that's something different. And so as a pharmacist, as a doctor, I said it needs to have no harmful side effects if I'm going to endorse this. So I looked it up and I started doing drug interaction reports. I did about the first 50 no drug interactions, the next 100 no drug interactions. I said, what is going on? So I had to understand because it's all natural and it only has two ingredients, purified water and the matured hop extract, that it's not going to come up in the database as a drug interaction because who's interacting with purified water? Nobody. Who's interacting with an all natural element that there's just not going to be any clinical data that says that it's going to have a drug interaction. So that made me really happy. So I ran 200, 300 different drugs. I said, this is strong. Okay, now what does this claim about no clinically significant side effects? How does that work? And I said, okay, that means that everyone that took the test or the trials, they didn't run into any side effects that made them drop out. So there's no clinically significant. Surely we're all different. What happens to you, what happens to me, everyone's going to have a different experience. Individual results will vary, but no clinically significant. So that made me very confident. And as far as contraindications, I didn't see anything come up besides just because of the long-term unknown effect. We just caution if you're pregnant or breastfeeding. We caution if you've had a severe reaction like anaphylactic and your throat swollen up because you took hops. But even then, you could take a lower dose, and we know people that are taking it successfully. So that means this is safe. And now we've proven that it's safe. We've proven that it's possibly effective. Now I need to start taking this for myself. So the research said, go back to Haley and put your head down and say, okay, Haley, I did not find anything wrong. All right, all right. Give me the product. And I signed up, my dad signed up, my brother signed up, my mother signed up, my uncle signed up. The whole family signed up. The lawyers signed up that looked at it with me. And I said, okay, let's go. Let's get our results. So there's three different categories of people we found in the research. You can be an early responder, but then you'll see activity within the first 7 to 10, maybe even the first 30 days. You could be a mid responder in the first 60 days and a late responder in the first 90 days. I was so excited that I was an early responder. My first 5 days, I think I lost something like 5 pounds, and I was just like, this is insane. What's happening? And so that picture that you used for the post, that was my post. I was like, stop your scroll, everybody. Listen, I got something to tell you. This stuff works. I've done the research and this works. It has anti-inflammatory properties, antimicrobial properties, improves your cognition. It has cardiovascular health, all these things basically to restore your body's homeostasis. And I was like, this is powerful. And as I dug deeper, I got even more excited. The more research I did, the more excited and my belief went up. And you know why? Because it activates the vagus nerve. And I said, vagus nerve, we never talk about that in medicine because we can never tell the patient how to do it. Basically, doctors, naturopath, everybody, they would love to activate the vagus nerve, but there's never been a mechanism besides, like meditation and yoga and all these things that you have to do that are lifestyle changes that are hard to do on a consistent basis. And even then you cannot do it for up to 9 hours. So if you can get your body into the parasympathetic state, which is what activating the vagus nerve does, you put your body out of fight or flight, all the stressful daily stuff we deal with, into a state of rest, digestion, and restoration. Just like sleep being so important to restore your body, being in the parasympathetic state is extremely important. It actually releases serotonin and dopamine, so it affects your cognition and your mood. It regulates your breathing. It reduces your blood sugar. It helps your immune system be boosted because of the reduction in inflammation. It helps your heart. It regulates your blood pressure. All of these things slows down your heart rate. Parasympathetic. And so it's really important because over 75% of the nerve endings in our body from the are parasympathetic. And if you can activate that, you guys, oh boy, you have now done something extremely special that's never been done before. And so that got me super excited. And then understanding what visceral fat is, that deep fat that's, hidden behind the abdominal wall, and how dangerous visceral fat is, how it can displace your organs, how it can release chemicals and toxins, and it can cause all these different types of disease states. I said, this is really something special. This is really, really powerful. And so not having to do all the different lifestyle changes and simply adding one thing into your drink, any drink by them, any drink, literally once or twice a day, was something that I had to take for myself. And now that I've taken it, you guys, the rest of my story is that after the first, what was it? I think 60 days or something like that, I had lost personally 22 pounds. And I couldn't believe it. I just wanted to lose 15 pounds to get healthier because my wife, she actually opened a nothing but cakes, a cake shop. And I ate all the cakes. She brought them home. I just ate them. I couldn't stop. And I said, what is happening? It made me depressed and sad because I knew my heart condition, I had to like lose weight and stay in shape. And so this was a lifesaver. My personal story is just, it's not normal. What's happened to me is definitely not going to happen to everyone, but we've heard tremendous stories in the Fix Your Health group. If you're not a part of that, you definitely want to join there. And needing to lose 15 pounds, losing 22, wanting to reduce my body fat and losing like 6% body fat, about 12 to 15 inches now. No more headaches, you guys. I was on anti-inflammatories like Tylenol, naproxen, ibuprofen. I don't take any of that anymore. I don't take any muscle relaxers anymore. My back pain is gone. My anxiety is gone. I have better sleep. What else has happened? Oh my goodness, my blood circulation. I went to my cardiologist last week and they said, you look amazing. We haven't seen you this good in 6 years. Keep doing what you're doing. I said, it's because of the Fix. I showed them the bottle. They said, okay, send us some more information. I went to my primary care physician the other day, said, oh, this is phenomenal. I did my blood work. I said, I want a complete blood count workout. I want a complete test. Tell me everything from my inflammatory all the way down to my insulin levels. And I just got the report back yesterday. I'm announcing it here for the first time. Everything came back within normal limits. And that has not happened for me in 6 years. It would always be either my potassium level was high or this was too low. Something was out of whack. Never been able to get it in balance until Fix. What is that worth, you guys? To me, you can't put a price on it. This means I'm literally going to be around for my why. My why is my wife, my family, our 3 beautiful daughters, being of service to others, doing our major definite purpose. This is my why. This is why I'm here right now sharing this with each of you. And they're worth it. And now I believe that God has blessed me and given me a second chance. He really has. This wouldn't have happened without that. So
I want to verify I heard you right. Is the only changes you made was you added Fix into your life?
So initially, let's be completely transparent. Initially, the only change I made for maybe the first 2 months or 2 weeks to 2 months, I don't know, at least the first month, I'll say, I didn't do anything. Okay. But when you are given a second chance at life, now you need to take action. Don't just take that for granted. So I started doing like 5,000 steps a day. And then now I'm up to 10,000 steps a day. So I have started to get back into working out and doing these things to maintain. And it's allowed me to stay at that 22-pound weight loss range.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is, to live a healthy lifestyle. And I always talk about this, you try to be as active as you can. And what I've seen with people using Fix, and sometimes a very short amount of time, is they go from not feeling like being active
Yes.
to having the energy and feeling good, the inflammation going away and just feeling good to where they are more active. They're maybe out in the yard working more, or they're, doing things in the house more than they, used to be, or, just like in your case, they feel like going to the gym or feeling like going
Hmm.
out for a walk or something like that. So I'm glad to hear. I've never heard your whole story. And I've learned so much about your story, because I didn't know the in depth of the health issues you had before. And to hear the way you talk about and explain Phix, I like it because you do it for, and I don't know how to say this, us non-medical people.
Yeah, that's what I do. I have to break down complex things like pharmacokinetics. I have to be able to explain that to someone that has, maybe a third grade education, because that is the reality. Like, I am the last person you see after you leave the doctor's office. You come to your pharmacist to pick up your medicine, and you may not understand anything that the MD said, but it's my job to make sure you understand what I'm giving to you to put into your body, right? And so that is definitely, hopefully, thank you for saying that, if that got across. And I just wanted to touch on what you said, increasing your mood, that increase in serotonin. This is a natural antidepressant. This is something's releasing these chemicals that make us feel better. My wife is happier with my mood these days. My kids are happier. Everyone is winning. That you win and the people around you win. So this is changing lives. Thank you, Stacy.
Well, Dr. Kareem, I greatly appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. Um, I'm going to fix this where you can copy this and share it to other people if you wish to do that.
Thank you.
One of the things Dr. Kareem said, everyone that's watching, is if you're not in our testimonial group, Fix Your Health, please get with me or Dr. Kareem, and let's get you in there, because just the story that he shared, and you guys have heard my story and some other people that I brought on, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories in there that may relate to you, that you're going to see, that will help with so many different things. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you live a healthier and happier lifestyle. We want you to have the energy, to have the want, or I guess best way to put it, to go out and do the things you want to do, to get out and play with your kids, your grandkids, not be sitting at home being miserable and stuff. We want to help you live a healthier and happier life. And it's amazing that we have one product, one simple product that you use once or twice a day. They recommend twice a day in any drink, and you just drink it. And it's not keeping up with 6 to 12 products. It's not overly expensive at all. This will fit in most anyone's budget. And you don't have to follow some crazy meal plan, okay? You don't have to, if you don't want to, you don't necessarily have to change your diet at all, and you're still going to get these health benefits. Now, I always say this, and I think Dr. Kareem would agree, that if you want to lose weight faster, then you probably might want to change the way you eat. If you're eating unhealthy, maybe make some healthier lifestyle changes with your diet. But even if you don't, you're still going to lose weight. It's just going to be at a slower rate. So, Dr. Kareem, thank you again so much for joining us. And you guys out there watching, have a great day and have a blessed day.